Hello, alchemists. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Ava, aka Queen Midas Life Alchemist, and I'm here for a brand new series with my lovely co-host Liz. This is freeing femininity. And we're going to first be talking about surrender. So, as we know, there's a big shift in the collective of moving from a more aggressive, like go, 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 tackling all the tasks, doing everything, structured, uh, highly masculine energy into more of a freeing flow and just tapping more into intuition and empathy and everything. So this is what this show is going to be based on in different aspects of the femininity coming in, and also what Liz and I go through personally, and just what we see and what we hear from our subscribers, as well as energy that they are going through, you all are going through as well. So that being said, how are you, Liz?
I'm good.
I've been talking.
Yeah. It's always kind of funny to start out videos because like we've been talking all day. So
Seriously.
how are you?
I am good. I took it very easy today. So yeah, to all of my subs, thank you all so much for being patient with me and just so supportive and everything. As you know, I've been going through a lot of transition, and your girl been worn out. So today I like barely did anything, and I'm really glad to be back on camera and creating more content because I really do miss it. So yeah.
Yeah, we both have been going through a whole lot. It kind of is funny because we're like kind of figured out like we seem to be like twin souls. We go through things on a similar level at the same time, or like we switch off. That one day you were having a bad day, I was having a good day, then I was having a bad day, you were having a good day. It's kind of funny. So we like balance each other pretty well, but there's a lot going on in the world right now, and then a lot in like personal world. It's blowing my mind. Like, and I feel like you feel the same way. It's just how much transition can we actually handle? And the only way to really handle it is by surrendering, which we're, discussing probably heavily today. But you were bringing up like the go, go, go of life and everything. And my friend Emily actually talks about this. She calls it masculine programming. And we actually are like, it's amazing how I was talking to her about it, and I was like, I actually feel like I was more masculine programmed by my mother than anyone else in my life. And I just kind of put like those pieces together. And we talk about toxic masculinity all day long. Like these days it seems like everybody's like toxic masculinity. It's like yeah, that's true, but there's also a very toxic femininity also, which is I think a lot that has to do with manipulation. And because there's a other side to the coin of what that actually looks like when it's pure and from a divine feminine place. And I think a main reason that the world is the way it is, the problems are, people always harp about there not being any fathers, but maybe the lack of fathers and the lack of femininity, like pure femininity, what a woman should be, because they're having to be the man also, is what is actually screwing up our society so much, because we don't have that feminine side anymore. It's been completely stripped out of the Western world for the most part, it seems like. And I've had to work through a whole lot of masculine programming, toxic femininity, especially recently. And I feel like it comes up even more so being pregnant, because I've had this theory since I had my son that I feel like pregnancy is the best time to grow and evolve, because you literally have like the power of life inside of you, growing a human connected to another dimension, and the power of life and the chaos and corruption that's in our DNA can't coexist. So everything gets pushed to the surface and makes you deal with it so that you don't have to carry it on through your generational line. And like I had that realization when I was pregnant with my son. And so now coming around this time, I'm actually like able to kind of deal with more stuff that comes up quicker than I was able to with him. It was more of just like a concept and a thought. And by the time I was like, like, holding on for dear life, by the time he was out of me, I was like, okay, I can breathe. But like, I didn't deal with all that stuff. Now it's coming back up. And I'm like, okay, I can deal with it now. And I think that's one of our superpowers as women, being able to host like pure life energy and being connected to another portal dimension. And then on top of it, cutting things off and ending things for our generational line so they don't continue. So we actually have that purity restored. Anyways, that was a long tangent, but
No, that was good. And you even had a experience today with that. I don't know if you want to share like
yeah.
a little bit about it. Like you obviously don't have to go into detail.
No, yeah, I totally can. I feel like I'm pretty much an open book for the most part, but I realized so much of I like started having pain in my hands, and carpal tunnel is like a thing in pregnancy, but I don't accept that. I don't accept any pain ever. I'm like, there's something wrong. This is linked to something that I need to deal with. Especially if it's causing me pain, like I'm aware of it all day long. And I was like, what in the world is this? And I ended up throughout the course of the day and talking to multiple people about it, Ava being one of them. I ended up coming to the conclusion that it was pain from my mother, like hurt, trauma, whatever from my mother and how I grew up. It was trauma, pain from the miscarriage I had like pretty much a year ago to date, because it was in September of last year. And probably happened around this time frame because it was the 27th of September that I got the ultrasound and found out it wasn't alive. And just like not letting that go completely. And like if you think about it, I was like grasping on, like holding on to it as tight as I could. And what was the other thing? There was like three things, I feel like. And then Ava brought up the whole like doing too much, like working too hard kind of thing. Like you're doing too much. You're like almost like striving. Like, it's kind of like you don't have to do that much work. You can relax. And like part of the feminine flow is like allowing things to come to you, flow out, come, flow out. It's like a wave. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like all of those three things encompassing, because I keep working my hands too hard, so they're sore anyways, and then they're inflamed, and I'm like, what is going on? So I did what I call kingdom work in my car on my way to go get my dinner, because as most of you know, I don't have a kitchen as of right now. And I had about 30 minutes to myself. And I just went through and did everything that I could think of, released my mother, forgave my mother, cut off generational stuff with mothers in my family line, because I know that's a thing. And just kind of covered all my bases, and then released the, and cried for the baby that I didn't have physically, like let go. I like parked in a parking lot and like let my hands like just like open. I was like, I give it to you. I do Yeshua. I give it to you, Yeshua. Like I give it to you. Like I don't want anymore. Take this, take the pain. And I literally felt the pain leave my hands. And other than just being a tiny bit sore, because I did pressure wash my deck yesterday, it feels like the inflammation at least is gone. But yeah, that's kind of some of the stuff that I've been working through a lot lately. It just kind of feels like the whole 3 chakras in my life are being heavily affected, which is all where pregnancy lies. If you think about it, really up to here, because you've got, milk and stuff, but it's kind of after. But I definitely have sensed the change that's happened. And it's funny because I've been really working on my root chakra and like releasing energy. And I had the thought while I was getting ready to come on here, I was like, I feel like all that root chakra work that I did is like manifesting itself out now. And it's like, you better cry now. Like, you better release it this way. It's like gone up to here. And I'm like, okay, now I just want to cry about everything. And I was like, well, like, it was almost like a kind of like reminder from God. It was like, you did the work. What do you think's going to happen? Like, it's all coming up now. And those 3 areas of like security, I don't remember. Ava knows this. What is it?
Security to stability, safety.
Yeah.
Are you talking about root chakra?
Yeah. And then the other 2. Sacral
Sexuality, and creativity. It's like life force there. And then the third chakra, solar plexus, is like self-confidence, self-esteem, willpower, self-expression.
Yeah, literally all those are being affected in my life right now. And I feel like it's like the energy is like working its way up. And it's, it's good. And that's what, healing does. And it's not always a super quick and simple process, but what I'm learning is to surrender it, and just let it happen. And I love that I'm learning this now because I'm about to give birth again. And giving birth is like the most feminine act ever. And it is literally all surrender. And I had no idea that that's what it was the last time I gave birth, which is probably why I was in labor for like 30 hours. But because I was trying to make it happen. I was like pushing when I shouldn't have been pushing. And I had no idea. But now I like keep having like reoccurring like visions of me just like arms up, just like birthing a child. Like, I give it, I'm done, like I surrender kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at least. What about awesome.
You? For me, it was not moving out of, like working up toward the move from Pennsylvania to where I am now. And then just even in this like kind of middle position that I'm in right now, it's been like this balance between we're kind of moving ahead on the points, but we can actually go now. Balance between doing and being.
Yeah.
And which is, doing would be the more masculine approach, and then being is the more feminine approach, where you magnetizing the things to you. And in position, like in previous versions of myself, I would have been looking for a million jobs, doing this, that, and the other to try to piece this thing together, figuring out plan A, B, C, and D in case this fell through, that, and just like working out of a very survival mindset, or like a there's not enough, or this isn't going to happen, or a very low frequency mindset, very low frequency energy. And so just with talking with you and with myself doing kingdom work around feelings of unworthiness, feelings of like not feeling safe, not feeling like I deserved success, or like I was, I've in my life, I've noticed that I would get these opportunities that other people wouldn't necessarily get, but I get to these certain points and hit a wall and block. And so it was like there was like a definite block at certain points in the process, you know, in processes of success. And then also blockages around money and stuff like that, and having to deal with those things. So yeah, just digging into a lot of my root stuff, and then family stuff, and having suppressed memories come up that I realized were directly tied to money and poverty mindset, and feeling safe and secure, and breaking bloodline stuff when it comes to attracting codependent situations where, you know, where it's like an unhealthy version of surrender, because it's like that exchange of, like you said in our conversations, protection for security, or protection for safety, or something. Were you going to say something?
No, I was just agreeing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like in a sense that's surrender, but that's surrender out of fear, or surrender out of an anxious space, or like, you know, I can't do this myself, so here, let me give my power over so that
Right.
you can overpower me, in a sense, you know. So working through a lot of that, and I didn't even realize, I guess, the depth of the codependency and attachment stuff that I was carrying.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty heavy. And, you know, I talked a little bit about it on my live last Sunday. Not last Sunday, but the Sunday before, when I mentioned, you know, when you set your boundaries and you break those attachments, then the people who are feeding off of you, or who used to have the power over you, go freaking crazy, you know. So that has been one thing for me. Also, with the whole shift, and I felt very guilty almost for not posting. Almost like I've been letting my platform down, because I took all my readings off. You know, I like privated all those videos. I changed a bunch of things, and what's awesome is like 98% of y'all are still here. So that's like, I'm like, y'all are like the real
OGs.
yeah, real OGs. It's so awesome. So I've had a lot of guilt around that. And then the masculine in me has been like, you need to get back, you need to start working, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to be like doing your revamping of the service that you're going to be offering. And because I am also revamping that, and shifting it into an actual coaching product that I am still working on. So hopefully I'll have that ironed out in the next couple of weeks. And then, yeah, just like I've been feeling so guilty, and this balance between like, I know I need to take care of myself. I know I need to diffuse. I know I need to move out of the energy that I just got out of, and let my body and my nervous system relax, and like get down to the pool, and you know. And then I've also been feeling guilty about not running as much and not working out as much, but it's like, girl, let your mind rest.
Yeah.
Okay, let your mind rest. So the doing versus being in that aspect too has been very in the forefront for me. And today, luckily, I just laid on the couch the majority of the day, and so that was cool. And it was nice to do that and not feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Because, or feel surveilled, because that was very much the situation that I was in before.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy that we're in a world where it's almost like not okay to rest, not okay to slow down, because, oh, your competition doesn't sleep. Your competition's they're working twice as hard as you. You know what I mean? There's actually this quote that I saw. So I'm reading a Return to Love for a coaching, actually a mentoring program that I'm doing with Amelia Love, if any of you all know her. But we're having to read this book, A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, for that. And it has an entire section on surrender. And I just wanted to read this quote. So Passive energy has its own kind of strength. Personal power results from a balance of masculine and feminine forces. Passive energy without active energy becomes lazy. So that's when we're just like laying back, expecting just the world to fall in our lap, not setting up things in line for, the proper things to be able to come to, like setting up the avenues for things to come to us, not doing what we can do and then taking our hands off. It also says, but active energy without passive energy becomes tyrannous. An overdose of male aggressive energy is macho, controlling, unbalanced, and unnatural. That's when we're trying to do too much and trying to control every single thing. The problem is that aggressive energy is what we've all been taught to respect. Totally. So we're always fighting for something, for the job, the money, the relationship, to get out of the relationship, to lose the weight, to get sober, to get them to understand, to get them to stay, to get them to leave, and on and on and on. We never put away our swords. The feminine surrendered place in us is passive. It doesn't do anything. The spiritualization process in men as well as women is a feminization process, a quieting of the mind. It is the cultivation of personal magnetism. So it's dropping the sword. It's dropping the, moving past the chains, moving past the borders and boundaries and limits that we put on ourselves mentally a lot of the times that cause us to act out of fear, anger, anxiety, and cause us to overwork or feelings of not being able to not like measuring up, feelings of comparison, stuff like that, where we feel like we have to overperform. And then we like shift into this toxic masculine space, whether it's outwardly toxic to people around us or it's just toxic for us individually. So that actually leads me into the next point of mindset. And this has come up so much. Like, you were coaching me through this when I was in Pennsylvania about like, I was like, I don't know what I need to do. Like, what else do I need to deal with? Nothing's moving, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, I'll let you take away with that about like choices and decisions.
Yeah. So I've just seen it too much with the whole balance of the doing and being kind of thing. Like the toxic femininity is the lazy side, like what you were saying. And I've seen that so much where it's like, oh, it'll all work out. Like it'll be okay. Like, oh, we'll figure it out. Like, I'm like, but you're not figuring it out. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, it's not just gonna, like, if you don't, like, if you want to grow a following, an audience, like, put yourself in the position to where that can happen and then let it happen. But don't just sit there on the couch and like not make any content or whatever and then expect
like
to have people.
I'm just kidding.
No, not you. I'm not even talking.
I had to.
I'm not talking about you. I don't even know why I literally said what you just said. Oh my gosh.
Okay, it was
anyways. You already have a following, so I'm not talking about you. But it's just like put yourself in the position and then allow things to come to you. But sorry, I got lost. What was the question?
Making decisions.
Oh, making decisions. Yeah. So I was telling Ava when she was back in Pennsylvania, I was like, maybe you just need to make a decision. Like, just decide where you want to go, where you want to be, what you want to do. Just decide, and not like have it like, well, I could do this or I could do this or whatever, because I've seen that a lot too with it's men and women both alike. Men can be just as femininely, I can't say whatever, toxic as well as the other side. But it's like, I feel like God, universe, source wants to work with us. Like, if you have children and they're like 20 years old and they're just still like acting like a 4-year-old, you're like, grow up. And I feel like that's very much how God, universe, source is with all of us. He's like, he, she, whatever, is like, you know, you're meant to grow and evolve, and he wants to work with you to make things happen. He doesn't want, like, I don't believe in the whole, oh, if it's God's will kind of thing. It's like, no, like, he gave you a brain, he gave you desires in your heart. What do you want to do? And make a choice and let him come along and help with that choice. You know, he wants you to make the choice. And I feel like that's the most powerful place to be, is believing that we do have the power to direct our life in a certain course. And, you know, we also have the power to have God, universe, source to come alongside of us and help that push that in that direction, because we're trusted with that power. And that's really the, you know, like we've been programmed to be such a victim to our circumstances, money, situation, whatever, people that are around us, the tools that we have or don't have. It's like, well, maybe you should make a choice and then, you know, just think about the little steps that you can do, that you have in your wheelhouse to do, and then the rest will start coming to you because you're attracting that. Because once you start making the choice and directing your thought process in that direction, it's almost like you attract more of that into your life. It's like, I kind of, in a weird way, like, I kind of dipped into like masculine stuff, but but at the same time in a feminine way, because I started doing more and started earning more income and everything like that, from being a stay-at-home mom. and I've actually, like, you know, made more money as a stay-at-home mom than I ever have in my entire life. And I think it's because I took that choice. I made that decision. I want to stay home with my kid, be able to go to the park every day, you know, sleep with him at nap time when he did take a nap, because he hasn't been. And, you know, like, just be there for him and not be in an office setting, not have anyone need me outside of him. And I made that choice. Me and my husband both made that choice. We were in a place to do that. And out of that has, like, this empire is starting to grow. And it's just funny because, you know, I never in my wildest dreams would have expected that to happen, but I literally just took the steps and made the choice. And a year later, I'm making triple what I made at a part-time job, taking him with me. And my husband's gotten a raise. You know, we're just way more of a family unit. And I interact with my husband a lot better. I'm happier in general when I'm not dealing with lots of inner healing stuff. But, you know, it's just kind of all fallen in place. And I think it's because I made the choice and did the little bit I could with making my choice, because it started from staying home, but also like starting my t-shirt line, you know, and that's just kind of evolved into a ton of other things that don't seem like they're that connected, but they are actually. But yeah, so there's so much more power in making a choice than there is in being passive, or there is in just saying, oh, God will provide. That's one I hear a lot. And I'm like, stop. Yeah. Like, you're not a 4-year-old anymore. Like, you know, you have a brain. God, it's almost like it's like, I feel like it's almost a slap in the face to God when people say that, because it's like, he's like, you know, giving someone everything they need to be able to move forward in life and be successful and be happy and have a joy and full life, and then just being like, oh, but you can handle it. And he's like, what? Like, yeah. Did I not prepare? Like, did I not give you all this? Like, hello. Like, he's like, you're like, anyways.
That's so interesting. And you know, religion creates spiritual babies.
Exactly. sucking on too much milk for too dang long. You need some steak and potatoes. Like, I'm all about the steak and potatoes.
Wow. Yeah, that's really beautiful how much and like you can honestly say that you've transformed your life. And you opened my mind to or opened my eyes up to like just make a choice, make a decision. And it was so true. Like once I was like, okay, well, I really feel like I'm being called here. Like that's where I'm gonna go. And then things started moving. And then there was another point where it seemed like things kind of stopped. And then I had to make another decision. And it even happened with you with the renovations. Like it seemed like to get in touch with anybody. I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
what if you need to choose how you want to decorate?
She fed me back my own advice that I would take for myself, and I was like, crap.
It's literally like a ping pong, like a tennis match between us. We're just like, hey, remember when you told me that? Do that.
You need to do that. Well, I mean, it makes sense, and it just even more plays into the whole like everything is a mirror. Like, you know, I'm telling you probably things that I need to hear for myself and probably need to incorporate. And, you know, something that also I thought of was at one point you were like, but what is, you know, like the whole manifesting, but like having a plan B kind of thing. And like having the mindset of it's not really a plan B, it's just having the goal in mind and then letting the details work it out itself, like in a different, you know, it might not be like every detail that you want, because that kind of gets into weird, like I consider it kind of like weird witchcraft in a sense, because it's manipulation, because so many people have to be involved in getting you to that final destination or that place that you're seeing, and you can't control everybody.
Yeah. Oh, it was like, so what, I don't understand the difference, like if I'm holding the vision, but then I'm like, it was like the vision versus the goal.
Yeah.
And it's like have the broader picture and just, you know, make a decision and then be flexible within the details and how like the path to get there.
Yeah. Because I think so many people get stuck in no, it has to be this way because this is what I'm manifesting. It's like, maybe you should make your manifestation a little bit more like bigger. And then let it have a bigger circumference of like ways that it can happen, you know? One actually Johnny's like spiritual mom always used to say like, if it doesn't scare you, it's not big enough, you know, kind of thing. And I always loved that. I was like, yeah, that's legit, you know. I was gonna say something else, but I don't remember what it was. I don't remember. I get on my tangents.
It's okay if you remember, then just bring it up. But it's definitely, it's just all about stepping into our co-creative power and owning that. And you were saying that like we make our choice and we'll be basically
that was it actually.
Oh, that's what you're gonna say? Oh, I wasn't even trying to jog your memory.
You read my mind. we yeah, that's literally what I was gonna say. It's like you know, stepping into that, like your choice isn't wrong, it's a part of your journey.
That's what I was like, I don't make the wrong decision.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's never actually wrong. I mean, you as a spiritual being knew what you were signing up for before you came here and knew all of the details of everything you would do. I don't think that like your higher self, your spirit, God, none of it is surprised at any decision you ever make, because it's all part of it. It's like people call it soul contracts. I call it your scroll, you know.
Semantics.
Same thing. But yeah, it's like once I kind of like figured that out and like freed myself of that, I became a lot more powerful and very much stepped into my power. So many people are like, were you ready for that? Like, how did you do that? I'm like, I just decided I was going to do it and I figured it out. Like, quite honestly. And even like when I do my videos, I don't prepare what I'm gonna say. Like I have a topic and then I just kind of like
Yeah.
go.
That's what's so good about them. They're so just authentic. So
Yeah,
I
well,
so
that's like,
appreciate
I feel
that.
like that's a superpower in of itself. Like so many people are trying to be like so, you know, I don't know. They're trying to,
Like crispy with the preparation.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, I mean, I feel like people resonate with people talking to people. Like
Mhm.
you want to feel like you're talking to someone that you trust, like, because otherwise, why are you listening to them? You
Mhm.
know, it's like, yeah, like the knowledge and the information is great, but it's just knowledge and information if it's not based off of experience.
Yeah. I love when you say that. And plus, like, I also feel like the authentic aspect makes the types of things that we talk about with like with healing and just spiritual growth, it makes it so much more relatable and digestible because it's just like, hey y'all, come sit in the living room. Let's
Yeah.
talk about, what's real right now,
Right. We're just having a
instead of,
girl chat, quite honestly. 'Cause
yeah. And I don't know. I know that when I see other people with just like, I mean, I'm sitting in my best friend's living room right now,
I love
but
how it turned pink when I said girl chat. It like lit up.
the over there, oh cute. But it's like nice to see people being like, I don't have this awesome, I don't know, news looking setup or
Yeah.
like the best camera or whatever. I'm just here to get the information out to you
Right. Right.
because I care about helping, and then the other stuff will come along. It's the same thing, making the decision to show up, make
Mm-hmm.
the video, get the information out, and then, the energy will come back in terms of like, I don't know, donations or tips to the channel and blah blah blah. And then you can buy the camera and then you can buy the this and the
Yeah.
that and whatever else,
Yeah.
So it's one thing that came to me when you were talking is like there is no wrong decision. There might be like a lower frequency one, but what's awesome is when we're in that co-creative power, it's like God or divine creator, whoever is just like doo, doo, like
Yeah.
tapping, like if that path is not fully supported, for our best and
Mm-hmm.
highest good or whatever, it's just like nudge this way. There's
Yeah.
course corrections that happen that get us back on track.
Yeah. And I mean, usually the choices you make are all a reflection of what's inside of you anyway. So if you're doing the work and, putting that in and like evolving and like growing and healing and getting all the like corruption out of your DNA, then you essentially get closer and closer to your divinity. And so like I don't know, ever since I've done like kingdom work and like getting crap out of my generational line and whatnot, I've trusted myself so much more. I am
Mhm.
like, I've been like 5 different people in the past 7 years, like at least. And it's kind of amazing because like me now, like or me when I was younger would be proud of me now. Like because I didn't see my life going this way, but I'm so glad it has.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know what I didn't know what I knew now, kind of thing. Um, but it is like wow, I keep losing my train of thought.
Um,
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Where are we? Where are we?
you caught me off guard by stopping talking.
I literally was
Past
on a train of thought and then I went on a
and
different
several
one.
versions of yourself, and the past one would be happy
Yeah.
where you are now because you never thought you'd be where you were.
Oh Lord, pregnancy brain. Getting
I'm
real.
getting your pregnancy brain now.
Getting so real. Anyways, so yeah, I just feel like I've learned to trust myself. Like the overarching theme of my last probably 10 years or so of my life have been degrees of trusting myself more and more and
Mhm.
being confident in the decisions I make. And it's really funny because as a kid, I was always this person anyway. But like, and I always say, like, you really are who you are when you're like a child.
Yeah.
And I was always the decision maker. of my friend group, of my family, if people were arguing like about where to go to eat, I'd be like, no, we're going here. And we would, it was kind of like people just kind of trusted that. And then I, through my teen years, kind of got out of it and like was like, I don't know, like what
Yeah.
lost my voice a lot. But found it. Found the train. I was gonna say it's kind of the idea of like release to increase.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge theme this year for me, is like actually releasing what's inside of me and what I have to say and being vulnerable and expressing myself and, letting complete strangers into my life and my inner workings and hoping that it resonates with somebody or can help somebody in some way. And I feel like that's what us as women are meant to do, quite honestly. Like, I look at the women in Mozambique, where my husband's from, they take care of each other. All they do is they sit around and they talk. They like share stories and share wisdom and like will laugh at the kids playing and like they'll make food and like share it and like they just share everything. Like we're sharers. Like I always heard that if you give a woman, like we're multipliers basically. Literally.
Yeah.
Like whatever you give a woman, she'll multiply.
Charlie said that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where I heard that
He
from.
has said that. You know, and I've seen that more and more. So if you give a woman shit, that's what you're gonna get back. you know, and that's very much how like women in Mozambique are. And they're very well respected and they take care of each other and they just share their life and help each other in any way they can. And it's just like this like pack of women kind of thing. Like it's beautiful, and they all seem very content and happy where they are, like, and it's just a stark difference from Western society.
That's what I was just thinking. Another way that we're attacked. Like, I mean, as much as I love this movie, well, I don't love it anymore, but Mean Girls, like, just that whole mentality. And then I cannot tell you how many times throughout my life I've heard a woman or a girl be like, I don't really like many girls, or I don't mess with women. I mostly have guy friends. Like, why is that?
Yep.
Okay.
That
Oh,
was
because
me.
that's an agenda. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I was for a while, and then as I started to get like into my mid-20s, I started to have a lot more
Yeah.
female friends again. But I don't know, I'm just a people person overall. But like I stopped resonating with that like years ago. But and I'm like, no. Like girls don't like other girls. Women like other women.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just feel like that whole like I almost said intersex, but I don't even know what that means because that could be some weird like LGBTQ stuff. But I mean like within the feminine, there's the warring within there that's created.
Yeah.
And then within like the men, there's the alpha, beta within there. And then you have that whole beautiful version of this beautiful feminine pact, or like under the understanding and the love that's shared and cultivated. And then like I just can't, it's giving me goosebumps to think about it, because I see like women coming together and how powerful we are on our own, and then like sharing that, and I just see like waves of energy going out, like because how dangerous is that to the controllers?
I literally have always loved the saying growing up, if women would rule the world if we didn't hate each other.
Yeah.
Like that's literally, and that's a total agenda in of itself, I'm sure it is.
Totally. Any way to divide.
We're like, I mean, there's the whole like men are head of the house thing, but I love the idea that women are the neck.
Oh yeah.
We can turn the head any way we want.
Yeah.
Like we're the foundation. We're literally the foundation for the head.
Yeah.
It's not like you can't have a head without a neck. Like it's not attached to the body, to the family. And we're the bridge, literally. And I find it, I mean, that's literally what's been gone after so much more. Like, yeah, you can chop off the head, but the neck's still there. But then the neck has to act like the head, and it can't. Like, we're a very much equal parts. One's not better than the other. We're just different, and we do different things. And it's meant to be that way. And it's funny that you say that whole like having more guy friends than girlfriends. Like, I was that person. I always had at least two best friends that were girls, and then all of my other friends were guys.
Yeah.
And that's been a reoccurring theme in my life until I got married. And my husband, who's from a third world country, is like, why are you friends with all these guys? He was so confused and didn't understand why I had so many guy friends. And I was like, I don't know. I just always, there's less drama, like, kind of, there's no cattiness, there's no like weird stuff, like just kind of hang out and be around each other. And I realized that I had to get more girlfriends being married, because in Mozambican culture, men and women don't really mix unless they're married or unless they have kids together.
Which makes sense because it can kind of be like inappropriate from the outside looking.
Yeah, exactly. You can't even walk next to a woman without them thinking that you've had sex. Like, he wasn't allowed to walk next to me for a while until we were married, and then it was like, oh yeah, they're married.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a whole different mindset shift, and really marrying my husband became the pinnacle of like my start of finding my femininity again, because I was very toxically feminine and masculine for a good portion of my life. So it's kind of amazing that my husband even like liked me in a sense. But then again, the other side of Mozambique is a lot of women are very hard there too, and rigid, because they're in survival mode, which is understandable. Like, they're trying to make sure their family has food every day, at least once a day, and they've got 10 kids. Like, it's a lot. So it's understandable, and that's what they've done to Africa. But but yeah, it's I really started finding and embracing my femininity once I met him, which has been a very interesting journey. And then we've completed a whole like 7-year cycle of relationship and everything, and it's cool to see how far we've come, both of us, because he stepped into his masculine anymore and I've stepped into my feminine anymore, and it's actually working better.
Wow. When is your actual 7-year anniversary?
January 6th.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Okay.
I can't, that's that special date that we can't talk about. So
look at all the transition, because cycles in our lives go in years of like 7-year increments. Look at all the transition and shifting you're going in right now, or going through right now. That is like,
I mean, I say we completed the 7-year cycle because he got here in August of 2015. Yeah. And so that kind of like started, that was like right before we got married. But there definitely is a whole shifting, and like I feel the clock turning, like the dial turning. I don't know how else to describe it, but it is extremely crazy right now. But we're going through it.
And you're gonna get through it.
Yep.
All right, so I wanted to also touch on magnetism and resistance. You sent me a video on TikTok where a woman was like telling people how to call their energy back to their sacral area, which is our area, our energy center of creation and creativity, and like our life spark there. And when we pull all that back and all the power back in from everyone and everything that we've given it away and pieced it away to, and then just open ourselves up to receiving what I guess, what we're wanting to manifest into our lives, things come easier. So magnetism is like the overall theme of femininity is just like, again, free flowing, like letting things come to us, not going out and hunting and working and doing all this stuff to, so do you have anything to add to that?
I was just thinking, like, when you call your energy back, because I do that every once in a while. I'll say, like, I call back any and all energy I have unwillingly or willingly given away that I didn't need to, basically. And I never thought to call it back to like my sacral chakra.
Yeah.
But it makes so much sense, because that is if you think about it, it's kind of like the only chakra that actually is a legitimate physical portal to a higher dimension, because that's where the womb and the baby and the all that stuff happens. It's like it's literally causing something in another dimension physically here. Like, and I think that's just so cool. I need to do that. I thank you for reminding me of that, because I'm like, I need to do that again. Like, maybe it'll bless this baby even more. But I think it's powerful to direct it in one area, and you can do it to any point. But so many people are so focused on like these two and forget about all the lower ones. But this is like your human right here. Like,
which is necessary to actually bring the thought forms into the physical realm to manifest.
Right. Yeah. Bring it down, or bring it up, bring it down, whatever, and that's from like, heaven to earth, glory to glory. And it's like, life is such a great balancing act. Like, it's like, but at the same time, the thing that I'm learning, even with the like flow of things, is I don't have to think about the balancing act. I just have to follow the flow. Like I call it. Like, I don't have to think about how I am gotta balance this and this and this and this and this. Like, even with like all my the streams of income that I have like created for myself, I like don't regimentally do anything for them ever. and and it's funny, because since I've done that, more and more have been added, or more ideas have been added to possibilities of streams of income, or the connections I make with people, or just like finding like friendships like I have now with Ava. Like, it's just kind of like, it's like more is added. It's like how much, Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. And almost like in another sense of, if you steward what you have well, more will be given to you. And I think when you follow that flow and like really like even calling back that energy into that creative space, creates room for that flow to come from all different directions and to be able to handle it. Like, I feel like that's kind of why I have felt off a lot lately, is because it feels like a tidal wave from all different directions. And I'm like, wait a second, what? What did I do? Like, what the heck did I do to make all this happen? Because I mean, most of my followers know, but for your followers' sake, like, I totally manifested my kitchen renovations that are happening, but I didn't do it at a very good timing in my like rational mind. But at the same time, it's making all of this stuff that I need to deal with come up that I can heal from quickly. Like, three things in one, like that were connected to three very big areas of my life. And I was able to deal with them for the most part, what I think, in the car. There might be some more left to deal with, but I was able to deal with them in the car going to get food. And I feel much lighter and more free than I did.
You're glowing more than you had in a couple days.
That's good.
Like, yeah, you look, even though you didn't necessarily, I know that you haven't had any more rest right now than you did earlier today,
Yeah.
but you look and feel more rested than you have in days. And like y'all, we seriously talk back and forth all day, every day, and like Marco Polo's texts, voice
Yeah.
messages, TikTok, Telegram, like we're
I'm like, oh, it's Ava. Oh, it's Ava. But yeah, well,
Good.
thank you. But I mean, I knew she was, we were talking about doing this video tonight, and I was like, I know, I just feel like I need to do it. I just need to do it. Like there's something about even releasing a part that's not 100% connected to whatever you're going through to help others and to, I don't know. You know what I mean? Just kind of like releasing in any kind of way. And like this kind of stuff makes me come alive anyway. So
Yeah.
that's why I
And
was like,
something
I need to do it. I don't care how tired. I'll be rejuvenated just from doing something that I like to do.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so actually these last 2 points, yeah, we're coming up on an hour. So these last 2 points can go together. So they're resistance and detachment from results. Because when we're too attached to something and like the grasping, like the hand thing that you had, that wasn't necessarily attached to results, but like when we're holding on to something and it has to happen this way, and trying to manifest the small minute details, we actually create resistance and push away the manifestation or whatever we're wanting to come in.
Yeah.
So
You can't give or receive with a closed hand,
yeah.
and I felt like it was so significant that my hands have been feeling so weird lately, like this whole week. It was kind of like my body was like, okay, time to deal with it finally. Like, we need to make space in your body for new and more and greater. And I can't do it if you're holding on to all this. And I was like, it's like, that's where it was sore, is like doing this, like
Oh my gosh,
that position. It's a little bit sore still, but like I said, I pressure washed the deck for like 4 hours yesterday, so I think it's partially that. But yeah, it's that's something that I used to like. It's just really fun to think about, like how I used to think about things as a teenager and how I was causing so much resistance to everything I was trying to do. But then the things that I used to like write a I want I called it my daddy I want list. And I used to write a list of all the things that I wanted and just write them down like a stream of consciousness, like all the things that I wanted, just me being a little like self-involved teenager. And then I would just close the notebook and forget about it. And at the end of the year, I'd go back and I would check off every single thing on the list. It's so funny because I was just like innately doing that. Like I just knew to do that. But then anything I really wanted, I like pushed away. I totally pushed away from myself because I would just think about it constantly, obsess and cry and, like bitch and moan about it all day long. And it would never happen. And then it's even like the direction I thought my life was going to go. I like literally gave it up. And in a way, it's coming back around with all of this stuff that I'm doing now. And it's a very different way than I expected it to be, but it's better because it's way more authentic to who I am than like being an actress or whatever, being someone that people wanted me to be and not who I actually wanted me to be or knew that I was. And I just think it's really cool, like just to see the difference and the transition of all that, because now I still do a I want list every once in a while because I like to think about what I actually want, because I feel like that's part of why a lot of people don't get results manifesting. It's because they don't actually know what they want.
Right.
They don't make that decision, And so when I actually can write it down and be like, no, I want this and I want this. And one of those things was my kitchen, like my kitchen renovations. And I was like, I even said it out loud this year. I was like, we're manifesting this. I want this upgrade in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Didn't think it would happen in the way that it's happening, but here we are, you know. But it all comes back to making a choice and, you know, letting the flow be the flow and doing the things that you can, that you have in your wheelhouse, in your toolbox, while you can, until more things are there for you to be able to do it, and not like pushing or striving or, you know, whatever. Like so many people, I keep going back to social media because it's like been the topic that a lot of friends have asked me about lately. And I'm like, you know, they're like, I need a better camera. I need a better, you know, I need lighting or whatever. And I'm like, just use your phone. Like, wipe off your lens, get in some good lighting. I'm not talking about you.
No, but I was like, that's
I'm not talking.
like all weekend last week.
I didn't even think that. So I was like, I'm not talking about you. Get in some good lighting and just use your freaking phone, because they're actually just as quality as cameras are these days.
Right. Yeah.
Like 4K. My phone shoots in 4K, like this one. And it's like you have everything you need. Like you don't need all this. Anyways, and once you start doing that, then you will, like you said, get the funds maybe from people tipping, donating, whatever, to get a nice camera that you can use in a different way or whatever. But just doing the little, like figuring out what you actually have and doing it, you know, I feel like creates much more momentum than people realize.
Yeah. Because that's like sitting around just be in a very woe is me.
Yeah, victim. Let's
Like
move away from that.
yeah. Um what you were saying about the hands, like the closed and open hands, goes in like receiving is a huge part of femininity. And
Yeah.
that, and we haven't straight up like named that and touched on that specifically in this talk, but I was keeping in my mind because I needed to say it, because that's a big part of um this movement. And a lot of people have a hard time receiving. Did you say that earlier? You didn't say that earlier. I think I heard that somewhere today, which
But
is
they do. You're right.
yeah, and that can be from feelings of unworthiness, feelings of
Mm-hmm.
people might have strings attached, or what do they want from me, or this, that, and the other. Oh, you know what it was? I was watching your video earlier today, like a couple
Oh,
hours
I was
ago.
like, I have said
Receiving and
that before.
That's what it was. Yeah, but I mean, anatomically, our bodies do the
Right.
receiving,
Right.
and that's just how it is. So a good thing to do would be maybe pinpointing any areas where you feel, or any viewers where you might have issues receiving, where you feel unworthiness around receiving, where you feel fear or anxiety, or
Yeah.
uh, lack of support around receiving. I don't even know what that means, but it's coming to me, so I'm going to say it.
It's even like, I know a lot of women struggle with like asking for help, you know, and
That
receiving help. It's like, no, like, I mean, I do sometimes. I don't really, but like, I feel like I have limited help a lot of times. But like literally just getting in the framework of, okay, yes, help me. Like even if it's the smallest thing, like I let my husband open the jars that I could open myself if I really tried hard enough, but let him do it. Just let him do it. He'll do it with more ease than I will, you know, even in the smallest of ways.
And that goes into I think that's receiving help, you know, and I was like that too. Like I didn't trust people. That's one. Not trusting people, not depending on people, because and a lot of people are have their own reasons for feeling that way. I felt that way.
Yeah.
Like I can't trust you to follow through and do this. I can't depend on you to be here and, you know, cover my back, or like to keep me safe or whatever, you know. So really look into those things, you all, because those could be some blocks that once they're faced and you're able to accept or move into the energies of receiving and flowing or making that decision and doing the things that you can, looking around you and what tools and what uh, avenues or connections you might have to like go one step further. Search for the like really
Mhm.
like off, be real with yourself and see what you can do to put yourself and line yourself up for success.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing about femininity in general is like, or women in general, is we're meant to be like the gatherers. So we
Mm,
can see all of the possibilities
mm,
like all around us, like because we can see everything at once. Like, oh, we need to pick up that. Men are like one track minded in the sense like because they're focusing on shooting, like they're shooting for dinner, kind of thing. And we're the ones that pick everything up, and it's like women have much more of a capacity most of the time to be able to see all possibilities, and that's like part of our little superpower because you know it's almost like a weird kind of version of empathy of like seeing all the different perspectives,
yeah.
you
Hmm.
know like if we do this then that could happen, if we do that could happen, like all the possibilities of outcomes. And empathy is seeing someone else's emotions or feelings from their point of view, and that's kind of what we innately do in a way.
Hmm.
um so it's not like, I feel like once women tap into that, that's where the flow starts to come from. Is like, just seeing all the possibilities right there and just saying, okay, which one's going to come to me first?
Yeah.
Which one's going to float down the river to me first?
And what's interesting, and this is just like it blesses other people too when we let go of the ego and the reins that we're trying to hold on to so tightly,
Yeah.
and it like it can have such a positive impact on the people and the environment around us as well.
Hmm.
um,
I even, a part of my like little feminine journey was actually when I was teaching ballroom dance, because I taught while I was pregnant with Levi. And the whole concept of ballroom dancing is letting the man lead and
mm,
being intuitive to know which way he's going to lead you.
mm,
Like, or just feeling the slightest like pressure where his body is going. Like, and just you get to a place where you just almost like psychically like just know what they're gonna do and then just go with them, and it looks like you're doing it together.
yeah.
He's technically leading in a sense. He's being the head and you're being the neck, because you can kind of send signals back to the man, and you can create this beautiful dance together.
Mhm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
um Oh, and I've been meaning to say this, like we both have male subscribers. This is not only geared toward women. This is also geared toward men. I know that we've spoken from a feminine perspective because that's what we know because we are women.
Right.
And like we actually know how to define what a woman is.
Right. Right.
what, what is a woman? Well, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But
Oh my gosh. Just go to Mozambique and ask them. They'll tell you.
right. um but there's a the return of femininity is not just for women, it's in general and collective in the
Yeah.
collective in the entire earth realm, like,
Mhm.
and it's just a rebalancing again, the whole balancing thing. It's been way too masculine where it's just dog eat dog, everybody's aggressive, everybody's go go go, nobody's like connecting or trying to love or understand or so it's really I think it would be a good challenge and a good thing for men to really assess these things within themselves as well, because it's could only help with your healing and also help you to connect to the women in your life, whether that's
Mhm.
romantic, platonic, business connections, your daughters,
Yeah.
so yeah, this is for
Yeah.
everybody.
I mean, I honestly learned a ton from my husband about being a feminine, you know, a ton. And it's something that is benefiting both of us and the world around us, just us stepping both into our divine counterparts, basically. Because there's just so much of, he would just almost create this safety for me that I never experienced before. And that's a part of like the divine masculine, is like creating a safe space for the woman to be that divine feminine. And to feel safe in that environment, because we will go to war if we have to, because we'll fight for our babies, we'll fight for, like we'll die for them kind of thing. But we don't have to, you know and creating that sense of, oh, he's got me, like he'll take care of it, you know he's protecting me and letting me step into that almost like area of peace that we are meant to be from. I forgot who said it. It might have been Charlie that I heard it from, but he said something like, uh I make all the big decisions, or someone once told him, I don't think he said it specifically, but it was like, you know, the guy was talking, he was like, I make all the big decisions, my wife makes all the small ones, but because she makes all the small ones, I don't have to make any big decisions. you know
Mm,
she does handles all the small ones, I don't have to make any big ones. And
yeah.
I was like, that actually makes complete sense. That's it right there.
That's so funny. That totally sounds like something he would say.
It totally does. Yeah.
Um, so I want to end with like a little, it's like or four sentences in this book again. That was weird. Do you see my lighting? I think it's like
It
the
was
camera
focusing,
adjusting. Um, it's just kind of wrapping everything up. But it says to trust in the force that moves the universe is faith. Faith isn't blind, it's visionary. Faith is believing that the universe is on our side and that the universe knows what it's doing. Faith is a psychological awareness of an unfolding force for good, constantly at work in all dimensions. Our attempts to direct this force only interferes with it. Our willingness to relax into it allows it to work on our behalf.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I need that book.
just y'all.
You can get it for my baby shower.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's really good.
Okay. I'll put a link to you all for the viewers in the description box as well. It's really good and taking me a long time, or longer than it normally would, to get through it, because I'm like dog earing and highlighting and notes. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's one of those books, it's like, but you probably could read a billion times and get different things out of.
yeah.
Those are the best kind of books. Those are the books that I actually will read.
Mhm. All right, you all. Well, thank you so much, Liz. I'm really excited for
You.
this series because it's really funny how we go through like the same things, but then also I'm pretty sure a lot of the viewers are experiencing similar energies and moving through similar lessons in their lives, and maybe some of you all are feeling victorious in them, and some of you all are like, not knowing which way to go or how to get out of the cycle. So that is pretty much why we are here talking and sharing, so that we can just let you all know how we're moving through these things. But
And even just quickly on that, what's funny is it seemed like right before all of this, especially in my life, it was like everything was great. It was like Lionsgate portal happened, everything opened up, it was great, and everything was flowing so freely. And then it was like, boom, 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 boom. What are you gonna do now? And so now we're riding that wave. But yeah, so it ebbs and flows is all I'm saying.
yeah, awesome. Well, you all are sovereign, powerful, worthy, and loved. Please remember that. And we will catch you on the next video. Love you. Bye.